ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Parks and Tech. Today we are going to be taking a look at some accessories for the Xiaomi Fimi X8 SE. I know I've already done a review on this case, so don't think I'm going to review this case again, but if you haven't picked up this case, I probably would recommend it. It is a good one, nice and sturdy and strong. But what we're actually here for today is this little care package here in front of the case that you see pictured here, but I do have the quadcopter itself inside that case because we're going to take a look at some of these accessories, how they work, how they go on, how they fit, what they do, things of that sort. So let's go on ahead and begin. You can see that there are two boxes down here at the bottom and a little bag up here at the top. This was actually from banggood.com. I actually used QC Guy's links and codes that he posted in RC Hobby Shopper. So if you're going to go ahead and pick these up, I'll post a link down in the description to go over to that Facebook page. Make sure you join that group. He posts all kinds of codes and links, and it's all for a really great cause as well. So not only are you getting some cool stuff at some cheap prices, but you're also helping out some children in need, things like that. So make sure you go over and join the RC Hobby Shopper page over on Facebook created by the QC guy, and you'll make sure that you can get some pretty cool accessories, things like that. He also does the quadcopters and anything that you can get on Banggood. He can create a link or code for, and it really helps out a really good cause. So make sure you check that out and click that link down in the description below to go directly to that Facebook page. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Because I ordered them all together, they did kind of package them pretty well. So I'm just going to slice the tape. We're going to go with this bag on top here. Be careful when using knives, trying to open things. So it looks like here first we have some extended landing gear. And there's really not much that comes in that packaging. Just a little label, made in China. So here they are. Looks like it's a little clip mechanism. Feel pretty sturdy for the most part. You know, they don't feel like they're too flimsy. So first initial impressions, not too shabby, pretty well made. Nice little piece of padding up there at the top so that we don't hopefully scratch up the Fimi X8 SE. And it looks like these are all almost exactly the same. You have a couple shorter ones. Looks like we got two shorter ones and then two of the longer ones. So let's go ahead and set that aside and let's see how these go on. There's the Fimi. So we got our Fimi out. We got it unfolded. And because the Fimi is made a little bit differently, normally on most quads, the front legs are the ones that are actually higher up and the back legs are lower. But the front arms here on the Fimi are lower. So that should help you determine exactly where the shorter ones go and where the longer ones go. So of course the longer ones are going to go on the back legs, and then these shorter ones, see the difference? These shorter ones are going to go on the front ones. So the arms just fit in just like that, and then it clips down. And you hear a nice little satisfying click there. And one thing you do want to pay attention to, while these are not labeled, you know, right or left, you can kind of see here that the angle on this one leg, for example, is slightly different than the angle on the bottom, or the other one, excuse me. So you're going to want to pay attention to that and make sure that it's always kind of going up like a V, and you'll see that once I get the other one here put on. So let's go on ahead and do that. Make sure they're going inward. And then see how they fold out this way to make sure they kind of clip into place. So that's why I meant with the angle, with them being perpendicular straight up and down, make sure that they are facing in, so that basically once we get the back ones on, it'll kind of sit just like that, and it'll be flat. If you put them on the reverse side, then the little legs here are going to go this side, and that's not going to work for you. So so if you do put them on the wrong, if you do swap them for whatever reason, it's just not going to sit right. You're going to realize that you did something wrong. So no big deal. But let's go ahead and get the back ones on. So again, the back ones are the longer ones. So this locks in this direction. So again, the angle of this back extender needs to go on the left back leg. So there it is. And let's go ahead and get the final one on here. We'll make sure that it's locked in. There we go. So there is your landing gear, and you can kind of see there that it does. Nope, that's not a good surface to do that on. That it does higher it up quite a bit. So you do have some room there. Now, of course, this is already a quadcopter that has to be registered due to its weight. It is a heavier quad. These aren't going to make too much of a difference, but it does add a little bit of weight. But supposedly, now of course I haven't flown this yet, but supposedly, it's not gonna make a difference. It's a pretty powerful quad, so it's you're not gonna have to worry about it throwing it off weight wise or anything like that. So. But just, try to make sure that these are out as far as they go. Let's see if they slide at all. And they do a little bit, but actually that was only because that clip came undone. So let's make sure that clips on. But doesn't look like they're going to be sliding around. So although with just a little bit of pressure, that clip kind of snapped off. So I don't know. I guess we'll actually have to test this one as well before I can really say that these are great. But they do feel really nice, and they do seem to clip on there pretty well. They're easy to get on and off. Of course, you're going to have to take them off and put them on every time if you're going to want to use it. But again, Fimi is another one that you can hand catch pretty easily, and also you probably hand launch too very easily as well. So I don't really think that these are 100% necessary by any means, but again, for those of you that might not feel comfortable doing so, then I would definitely recommend something like this. And again, these don't feel cheap. I'm sure a lot of other companies make these. These ones are actually, I believe, made by Sunny Life, but I could be wrong. I think everything that I got here was made by this company called Sunny Life, although I don't see their logo on this one, so I could be very wrong. So don't quote me on that. But you'll find those links to these products on the RC Hobby Shopper group on Facebook, so make sure you check that out. So there we have our legs, our extended landing gear, I should say. They are additional legs, of course, but they're extenders. So let's put the Fimi aside here real quick, and let's see what else we got in our little care package. I'll break the tape here. Let's take a look at this gimbal cover. And this is what I'm really, really excited about, is this gimbal cover. I'm really excited to see how this works because, with the Fimi, they just give you a little foam protector here. So, and I'll be honest with you, while it works, it's, of course, not really ideal. So let's go ahead and get this out of the packaging and see what we get inside here and see how well it fits on there, if it does at all. So this also comes in just white if you want white, so that you of course won't be able to see through it. But I got this transparent gray, so I think that would look nice, and I always like being able to see inside. So let's get this open and let's see what we got. Not much in the package. Just looks like we have the gimbal cover itself, so we'll set the box to the side. And let's get this open. Wow. First impressions, that's pretty, it's a pretty heavy duty gimbal cover. Made out of plastic, of course, but very well made. Doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So let's go ahead and try to get this thing on here. Looks like it should be pretty easy. And it is. Very, very easy. You can see too that there's a lot of room in there for the camera to face down, so it's not totally being crushed or anything like that. Kind of looks neat as well. So let's just see how easy it is to take off. Should just be able to lift this and slide right down. Perfect. So yeah, pretty easy, guys. I mean, really easy on and off. You don't have to fumble around with this little foam thing as much, so that's really cool. And it looks like, it's going to protect that camera and that gimbal pretty nicely. It wobbles a little bit, yeah, it does wobble a little bit in there, but it doesn't wobble a lot, and it is going to provide some nice protection for the gimbal. So that's really cool. I'm really glad I picked that up. That's really exciting. While these here I think are really optional, for the most part, this gimbal protector I think is definitely a must-have Fimi accessory. So make sure that you pick one of these up if you haven't. I think it was all of $3 or $4, so maybe even cheaper than that. So make sure you pick one of those up. So let's move on to our final box here. And our final box actually, it is for, of course, the Fimi Quad, but it's actually an accessory for the transmitter itself. These are the Sunny Life signal boosters for the Fimi X8 SE. There are some reviews out there that show that these signal boosters that go on your transmitter really do work and really do help give you a stronger signal. Some of the range tests that people have done on these things are, it speaks for itself. So they really do work. So let's get these out of the box as well and see what we got. I thought I broke that seal, but there we go. Okay. And again, nothing really else in the box. Looks like we just got our signal boosters themselves. And that's kind of neat. They actually slide together for storage, so that's pretty neat. Look at that. But there they are. Tear off protective film before use. So we got our transmitter out here, and it does say to peel off this protective film before use. And I think, if I remember correctly, this is always what's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, that was actually pretty easy. It's a little satisfying peel for all you people that like that. You might not even picked it up on the mic, so I apologize. I'll be a little quieter on this one. Although I'm kind of having a hard time. There we go, got a little corner. Make sure you have nails here. I'll be quiet for this peel. So these are pretty simple. Don't make the mistake of putting these on backwards, although it doesn't let you. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't let you put them on backwards because of the shape of the antenna themselves and the shape of this cutout. It doesn't let you put them on backwards. So that's really cool. I was going to point that out to make sure you don't put them obviously facing towards yourself. You're going to want to put them the opposite direction. So these just should slide right on, and they do. It's a little bit of a tight fit. So just be careful with that. This one here too, again, same thing, little bit of a tight fit, but all in all, not terrible. So basically, the idea behind these little parabolic dishes, or as they call them, range boosters, is it takes all that signal and actually pushes it in one direction. So as long as you have your antenna facing towards your quad at all times, and you're, making sure that as your quad moves around you, you have the antenna faces here facing the quadcopter itself, it's going to, in theory, give you a better connection to the quad, because there's not all this wasted signal coming back at you, because normally without these it would actually also be broadcasting 360 degrees all around So now it's taking all that's coming back at you and pushing it out in front of you towards the quadcopter itself. That's the easiest way for me to explain that to you without getting into a lot of technical a lot of technical terms, things like that. But again, these have been proven to work to give you a more of a solid connection to the quadcopter. Even if you're not looking for range, it'll at least help to give you a better signal and a stronger signal even when you're flying just very close to you or to the transmitter. If you're flying in a residential area, hopefully of course not too much over houses, but if you're flying in a residential area where there's a ton of Wi-Fi interference, things like that, this should definitely help you a little bit to give you a stronger connection to the Fimi X8 SE itself. And of course these particular ones of course won't work unless they're modified for other quadcopters, but they do make these for a lot of other different brands and transmitters and so forth as well. So I actually have a set of these for my Xeno, Hubsan Xeno as well, and it does work. It does provide a much more stable signal, and I've seen range tests done with these parabolic dishes and the Fimi, and it does provide a further range before that signal cuts out. So that's really cool. I mean, they really do work. So if you're looking to make sure that you have a stable, solid connection to the Fimi, then I'd highly recommend you pick these up, because this will most certainly help. Of course, nothing is 100% guaranteed, so don't rely on these in particular. You could still have signal dropouts, you could still have issues, you could still have problems. That's a full disclaimer there, folks. So just be aware that things happen. And sometimes they happen beyond that of the parabolic dishes, so just be cautious on that. But in theory, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to help you. So definitely an accessory, a rather cheap accessory too, that I would highly recommend that you pick up as well. Well, there you have it, folks. That was just a very quick look at some accessories for the Fimi X8 SE quadcopter. Again, just as a quick review, we have the leg extenders, which again aren't 100% necessary, but if you don't feel comfortable hand catching or hand launching, then I probably would recommend these. These are very sturdy. They do clip on very well as well, so you shouldn't have to worry about those falling off. Now with the vibrations in the air, could they potentially unclip or dislodge there from the locking mechanism? There's a chance. We'll have to test that out in a future video for sure. But all in all, made very well. We also, of course, have the Sunny Life gimbal protector, which also comes in white or this clear gray. And again, I got the clear gray here. Definitely is a much better protector there for the gimbal than the piece of foam that comes with it. So that is definitely a must-have. So I definitely recommend that. And then, of course, we have our Sunny Life signal boosters or range extenders. I actually kind of like signal boosters better, just because it might not necessarily extend your range, even though it's been proven that they do. But everybody is different and every situation is different, so it might not always work 100%. But it will definitely help boost that signal, because again, it takes all that wasted signal from the back and pushes it all to the front to, in theory, give you a better connection to the quadcopter itself. So I would, again, of these 3 accessories, if you're only going to get 2 or 1, if you're going to get 2, then I'd highly recommend getting the signal boosters and the gimbal protector as well. If you're just going to get 1 of these 3, then I'd recommend the gimbal protector, because again, that little piece of foam that comes with it isn't necessarily ideal. You'd think for a mid-level quad like this, they'd provide you with a little bit of a better protector for the gimbal itself. I mean, I know this isn't the most expensive quadcopter in the world, but of course it's not cheap, guys, so you'd think they'd give you a little bit more than a high quality piece of foam, although I will hand it to them, it is a pretty high quality piece of foam. So, but again, not Nothing bad against Xiaomi or Fimi in general. Again, I think they did a great job with this quadcopter, and I would highly recommend it, even with this gimbal protector. But for a couple bucks, you can get this really nice plastic protector as well. So you know what? One other thing here, guys and girls, I did want to test. So I have the case right back there. I know that the extenders, of course, it's not going to work inside the case, and you're going to have to take those off. So I'm going to go on ahead and get those taken off. What I do want to test, though, is to see how well it fits in the case with this gimbal protector instead of the foam one. So hang tight. Okay, so I got the legs, or excuse me, the extenders taken off, and I got my Fimi folded back up here with the new gimbal protector on. So let's see if this is going to fit inside this case. Moment of truth here, folks. It kind of looks like it does, because it doesn't look like it's too big or bulky or anything like that. So it should fit in there with, hopefully, not too many problems. So it does. It is a little bit of a tighter fit, but this is the first time that I put this quadcopter in here with the gimbal protector on. So over time, you know, as it kind of sits in here and comes in and out, it's going to kind of stretch out this this foam that's inside here. So it should most certainly, you know, be okay. But my only concern too is trying to get this bad boy out. So I always try to lift it from the back. I used to try to grab it here, but it puts a little bit too much strain on the arms. So I always lift it up from the back and then pop it out that way. And it looks like the gimbal guard still stayed on. So it looks like we're not going to really have a problem there, folks. So so it does fit in this case well. I don't know if it's obviously going to fit in any other cases as well. I'm sure it would, but obviously I can't guarantee that because I can't test that myself. So I'm not going to make any promises that I can't, you know, test myself. So, but again, this case here, it does fit, it does work, and I'm really, really pleased with that gimbal protector. So, all right, guys and girls. Well, I really, really appreciate you taking the time here to watch this video. I really hope it showed you a little insight on some of the Fimi accessories that you can get. Again, I will post the link down in the description to the QC Guys Hobby Shopper group on Facebook, which is again where I was able to obtain these links and these products. Of course, he is an affiliate with Banggood, and all of the proceeds that he gets and all the profit that he makes off of this goes straight to helping children fight cancer. So it is a really, really good really good cause. So I'd highly recommend that if you are in the market for any of these, that you do buy them from the links from his channel. Follow the instructions exactly, add them to your cart, and check out. If you had them in your cart previous, you're going to have to remove them first, and then use those links to re-add them, and then go straight to checkout. Don't get diverted or anything like that. Unfortunately, it breaks the link, and then therefore he won't get credit for the sale. And again, you don't really make too much off of this anyway, and it's not like it's going in his pocket. It's going to help kids in need. So it definitely is a worthy cause. But again, I really appreciate you watching. Hit that thumbs up button if you learned anything at all, good or bad, what to do or what not to do. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. It really helps me out. And it helps you to see any future content and things that are going to be coming from my channel. Not only do I do the quadcopters and accessories, I do a lot of different tech. So again, even if you're not really a drone person, then I'm sure you're going to find something here that you like. So take a look at some other videos that I have, and I hope you again hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and again, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.